breaking down all the chaos from the weekend. It's time for Mayhem Monday on Franklin County's favorite morning show. The starting lineup, fueled by Loco Coffee. And now for your hosts, Joe Abraham and Chewy.
Good morning and welcome into the starting lineup, ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester. I am Joe Abraham alongside Chewy this morning on an absolutely gorgeous. He's looking at me.
Dude, today's going to be brutal.
Too hot.
88 degrees is going to be our high this afternoon.
Lovely.
So much for the weather that we had taken for granted, I would say. We were like, man, when is summer going to show up? When is summer going to show up? It just like kicked the door in not over the weekend, I guess today. It was one of those weekends we finally had to turn the air on in the house, and then we quickly realized we need to call the air people because it's not keeping up already. Like, this is going to be a problem long term. So in studio with us right off the bat this morning is Sam Canup. And we have an article from her. It's actually this one I'm really excited to talk about because let me get this out of your way.
Oh, you're good.
I've got more than a few youth athletes in my house, and that's what this week's article is about. And so she joins us this morning from over there at Inspired Physiotherapy. See if I can get that out there. At least I didn't call you the wrong one this morning.
Yeah, you did great.
But how are you today? How was your weekend?
I'm doing good. We are coming off of our vacation, and so this is our first day back to work. So I am adjusting, but I'm also pretty excited.
Oh, adjusting people. I speaking of adjusting, my whole body needs an adjustment. I spent this past weekend. We went out and did the backyard camping thing.
Oh, fun!
It was kind of like a test drive. You know, hey, what do we need? What are we good at? What are we not good at? You know,
nice. Props to you.
Yeah, just can't hit the campground, right? And realized I either am past the point of just being able to sleep on the ground, which we'll just like throw a blanket down there or something like that.
Fine,
that'll work. Our backyard's flat enough. No, I've realized that I either need one of those pad thingies or inflatable mattress, which I never
mattress.
Yeah, I never thought that I'd go the route of being like that old. I just never thought I'd get to be like that old and that kind of. But I think I need the inflatable mattress.
Yeah, I need a good bed. I go on cruises.
Yeah.
I don't go camping.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm. We've had the conversation about cruises, and some of us are very for cruises. Some of us are very terrified of cruises.
Yes, which is understandable.
Okay, so to shift gears a little bit, your article, speaking of young athletes, my young little athletes, also, you know, they laid on the ground. They were fine. You know, it didn't affect them the same way that it affected me. But talk a little bit about this month's article and what you've got put together.
Yeah, so I feel like this has been something that I've been thinking about for months now because we have a lot of just, you know, younger people that are coming into the clinic. And like, I hear a lot of parents say, they're like, I just feel like kids get hurt more than they used to. They get hurt more often. And like, just they're seeing their kids needing physical therapy, or they need to see the chiropractor, or they need to go to the doctor more often. And I was like, well, there are some correlations that are like around this too. So like, basically like kids are playing sports at a younger age usually. Mm-hmm. We're also seeing that usually kids are specializing a lot earlier too. And so just seeing, okay, what does the research say about like how could this be affecting their injury rate and their injury risk? Because sometimes parents come in too, they're like, I just feel like, I don't know if my kid's like just being over dramatic, or are they really hurt, or like just why is this happening? Because it feels different than whenever they were growing up.
Right.
Because like kids could go out, they go out until the lights came on and they jump out of trees and do all these things, and then they would be fine and then come back home. But now our kids are playing more organized sports, and it seems like they're getting hurt more often. So it's like, wait, they're still being active. They're still doing things. Why is this happening? And so there's a lot of expert opinions out there. There's not exactly like necessarily that this is like the definitive correct answer on what to do going forward, but there's a lot of expert opinions, which is also really good to have. And so those are the things I kind of wanted to highlight in the article. We're just like, hey, this is what the experts are saying to do. So use this knowledge as power, like use this as a way to kind of direct the way that you encourage your kids to move and the way that you encourage them to also rest. So I think that that's one of the things that we miss sometimes, is that we forget that, like, hey, our nutrition, our sleep, our recovery time are also things that are going to make us better athletes and make us fitter and make us healthier long term. But we kind of usually focus on like the specific skills that we need to work on. We were like, hey, more is better. Like if we just keep on pushing and pushing, and if they specialize earlier, this can help. And they're actually showing that when kids specialize earlier, they usually end up burning out quicker. And then they also usually end up having a higher injury rate because you're using the same skill over and over and over again. So if a kid is only practicing skills that are involved in soccer, they're using the same muscle groups, the same movements over and over again, which can cause an overuse injury or just increase their risk for a certain type of injury. Where if they diversify and they do a few different things, they play a few different sports, their body's moving in different ways. And actually that is what is showing that actually makes them a better athlete long term. And they can actually do better in whatever sport they end up specializing in because they did so much.
Right. Yeah. So one of the things too that you talk about in the article, and if you have a youth athlete, I would really recommend reading this article. But one of the things that you talk about is growth spurts and how the body changes and things like that. And one of the things that I find funny to watch when we cover, because we cover a lot of youth athletics all the way from middle school all the way up through high school. And one of the things that I find funny is when you've got a kid, specifically I see this with basketball players who have grown like, I don't know, half a foot in the last 6 months, it seems like. And all of a sudden they go from being, you know, a pretty good athlete and very coordinated and all that type of stuff to they can't catch the ball. They're tripping over themselves. They look like, one of those dogs. What are the dogs, Chewy? The long, lanky, the greyhounds.
Greyhounds.
Yeah, greyhounds when they come out and they're like all weird. You know, they just look like they have grown too fast.
Yeah.
And you talk a little bit about how that can affect athletes as well.
Yeah.
But I guess as a parent, what specifically? Because I've got one that plays tennis pretty heavily. I've got one that plays football pretty heavily. What specifically do I need to be focused on or watching for to avoid, both injury and burnout? And you kind of touched on a little bit of it, but is there any kind of warning signs or anything like that, you think? Or is it just...
I think like the biggest thing that I've started to tell my parents in the clinic, and some people take it and they love it, and then some people are like, absolutely not. But like it's the limited training. So like if they are like prepubescent, so like they are, I don't know, like 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, like going off of their age is supposed to be the amount of time that they are actually training. So if they are 12 years old and they are supposed to practice 12 hours out of that week total. And so it's one of those, like I went through with one of my patients the other day, like she plays soccer, she plays basketball, and we counted through the time that she would be practicing in between basketball and soccer this summer. Like it is 12 and a half hours every week.
Right.
And so it was one of those, I was like, okay, I need to be mindful of this because you are going to be practicing 12 hours running in both sports. One of them is probably going to be outside. Kids are less heat tolerant. So like just things like that we're taking into account. And then I also need her to do some of her physical therapy, like corrective exercises, to make sure that we are decreasing her risk of re-injuring herself. So I have to take that into account. It's like, oh, well, we also do not need to add on hill training and like extra running practices and all that sort of stuff. Like we have to adjust her training based off of her practices. And then if the kids who have gone through puberty and all that fun stuff, like they are more of like, hey, don't practice more than 16 hours in the week. So it's just one of those, it's like, hey, like, okay, we have all these sports and they all take this very serious, which is great. Let's be mindful of how much our kids are training though and what they need recovery wise as well. And like,
Right.
hey, less can sometimes be more if we're really smart about how we do it. Like, and I think that's just where we're like the coaches, because we usually have kids that play multiple sports. So like having coaches work together of like, okay, let's make sure that this athlete is getting what they need recovery wise as well, because we're going to get more out of them. Like just, I think valuing the recovery time is important.
Yeah, I think that as a parent, and I can speak to this, like as long as our kid is not hurting and is not complaining about being tired and stuff like that, we look at them like, okay, let's keep going. They got more energy in them. You just go until they just can't go anymore.
Right.
But it's interesting to consider because Chewy, I've always wondered why I never made it to the NFL. Well, I think this is it right here. I'm 38 years old. If I would practice 38 hours a week at my NFL skills, maybe I would get there.
Yeah, sure.
She said.
That's why.
She said, an hour for every year of life.
Yeah, I don't know if that's exactly what she meant by that. Brett Crabtree jumped in and wanted to know, so maybe he can opine on this a little bit later. But yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I
it's
really
just
like
a lot
that.
of like interesting facts. That's just like, hey, like let's just take this into account, because I know like it's hard to know when athletes are hurt, especially when they're a kid or they're a teenager, because it's like they haven't been through a lot of life yet. Like they don't, like what is the difference between being sore and being hurt? Like
Right.
what is that difference? And like, hey, do you feel this stretch? Well, no, it doesn't hurt. Well, I don't need it to hurt. Do you feel that it is moving this muscle, or do you not feel anything at all? So like figuring out those things with an athlete is important. But then I usually tell my parents like, hey, like if you see, like we're working on their ankle in PT, like they're doing well, they're going back to their square. I'm like, hey, I need you to watch out for if they start to limp. I need you to watch out for if they start to like, they are favoring that side for some reason. You can see that they're nervous and they're moving differently. Like those things are at an increased risk for making things worse. So like be mindful of that. Like sometimes pushing through an injury isn't the best thing for long-term gains and for long-term health. So
well, as far as and some kids are just built where they want to compete year round and things like that. Like they go from one sport to the next, and they're not necessarily specializing in one skill, but they do specialize in competition. When you look at youth athletes who are doing that, who are always in a sport year round, do you find any kind of correlation there? Do you think that they should take some time off to rest their body? Do you think it's based kid to kid? Like how would you look?
I think it does always depend. It depends. Like not having a summer break is an increased risk for injury. Like basically they've just shown like, hey, when you practice all the way through summer and you've practiced through the year, like I think it's just showing that like, hey, you're not getting a month or two off from a sport and just valuing play. Like our kids kind of do organized sports more often now. You have to remember I'm not a parent yet. So like going off of like hearsay, but like our kids are usually playing in their athletics, but are they also just playing outside? Are we also just like still riding our bikes, jumping out of trees, doing different things like that? So like valuing that time. But yeah, like it's one of those, like I would always encourage having like an extended period of time that you're off. Like it has specifically like for runners, you're supposed to have 8 to 9 months out of the year that you're doing structured running. Like every, I don't know, it's like 3 to 4 weeks, every month or so, like you're supposed to have like a full week off from impact training.
Wow.
Every week you need to have at least a day, or I think it might have been 3 months. Read the article. But every like every week you need to have at least one day that is truly off. And so there's a lot of times where like we talk to athletes and it's like, hey, they do practice every single day.
Right.
Like Sundays it might be skill training, but they are still practicing. And it's like, hey, like our bodies do need a full day of rest.
Right.
So like I do encourage, like even if it's not that you're getting a month off from a sport, because sometimes that's not possible, especially when you're 15 plus.
Right.
Under 15, maybe we need a little bit longer of a break. But I think times throughout the weeks or throughout the months, it definitely could be valuable.
Well, even weightlifting, my brother and I, sometimes we go to the gym. I can't tell you the last time I was at the gym right now, which is
Me
bad.
neither.
Yeah. But no, so when he
Oh,
and
is that funny, Sam?
when he and I are going to the gym like a lot, it's always this, we'll get into periods where we'll just go every day. And that's actually like, regardless of whether you feel good enough to go every day, or regardless of the fact that you need the self-discipline to go as often as you can and things like that, they actually recommend that you do take rest days, because that's how your body then can recover your muscles, and then you can, if you don't, then you're actually again doing yourself harm in the long run.
Yeah, you end up plateauing.
Yeah, you're trying to do all these make all this positive momentum, and instead you go the other way because you're not giving your body the time to recover. So I think that's important. If we see it in adults, then it's probably when a kid's body is growing at the rate that they are, it's probably extremely important for them as well.
Yeah.
And you mentioned kind of the communication aspect of it too, talking to these young athletes. Man, sometimes I don't even know what the heck my kids are saying. They talk in a language that I don't understand. But then when I talk to them about, and you mentioned it, like, does this stretch hurt? Does this muscle hurt? I'll talk to my son Jack. He'll come home with a bruise, or he'll go to the fridge and grab an ice pack after football practice or something like that, and he's icing a body part. And I'm like, well, what's going on? And he doesn't know how to communicate. I don't know.
Right.
It's just sore. Sore how? Is it like a bruise? Is it like your muscle is sore? Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah. And it's hard for them to explain a lot of times because, like, they haven't experienced pain really.
Yeah.
Like, or they have, and that they only have one thing to compare it to. So.
Right. Yeah. He doesn't know if it's when his muscle's extending or if it's just
Yeah.
And so I think that's the biggest challenge is the adult in the room with certain kids is understanding where their body is at and how to communicate that with them. The last thing that I would say I have a question about as far as all of this goes is, you deal with the physical aspect of it and stuff, but how much are the physical and the mental aspect of it, do you feel related? Do you see kids who come in and have a different mental outlook on things respond differently than others, maybe? Again, when they deal with physical challenges, how much of that, and I guess it doesn't have to be just kids, but how much of the body is tied to the mind, I guess is the question.
It does play a huge part, and you're right, it's with adults and with kids. And I think that's where, like, I have to learn to treat each person as an individual and figure out, like, where they are in their headspace and figure out, like, hey, are you somebody that's motivated and you're going to do your stuff at home, or are you not motivated? You might still be motivated, but you don't find the value of doing it at home, or you're so busy, so you don't find the time to do it. Like, just trying to figure out where that person is at. And so then I know what my expectations of that person should be. But, like, when somebody is motivated, like, she has seriously been my best patient I've ever had. And she's like 11, just turned 12. So, like, she is the best patient I've ever had, does all of her exercises, and she has done phenomenal in her recovery. And so it's one of those, I'm like, oh, this is great. Like, when people do their stuff at home, like, it really does make a difference. Now, this has also been a huge impact on her life and her mentally too, because it's like, hey, like, you are young and you went through a major injury, and, like, you're having to process all this stuff like you would if you were an adult. And so, like, remembering that as well, like, hey, like, this is a young person who is having to go through something very tough within her life that is affecting her every single day and for an extended period of time. So, like, being mindful of that with somebody, then compared to somebody else who's like, hey, like, I hurt my calf and I can't walk right. When can I get back into the game? And I'm like, ooh, I need you to be able to jump without pain before I can send you back to basketball for a full practice. Like, and so, like, those people are super motivated, which is great, but that's not every single person. And it really doesn't end up going with their age that much either. Like, it just depends on that person and where they're at, like, how stressful is life, how great is life at home, like, all those things. So it definitely, like, the mental aspect and where somebody's headspace is at definitely affects their ability to, like, positively move through therapy. And so sometimes we are seriously cheerleaders, or we adjust the way that we're approaching things when somebody is less motivated, or they're really down about, like, what's happened. They're like, my entire life is, like, changed. It's over right now. Like, I can't do anything that is valuable to me.
Right.
And I'm like, bet, I know where you're at right now. Like, let's work from here, and let's give you the positives, and let's give you these short-term goals to meet, so you don't just stay in this headspace of a spiral, like, downward that we all know just sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a week when you're that age seems like a year at our
Absolutely,
age, right?
Yeah.
So part of the article as well talks about why physical therapy matters for youth athletes. And I think that this is kind of cool because, again, and we talk about the things that we miss as parents. You know, if my kids got the energy, we'll go another rep.
Yeah.
You know, those types of things. Well, also, you know, if my kid is hurt, their body will heal. We just wait till it gets better.
Right.
But in the article, you talk about the things that a physical therapist can bring to the table as far as helping an athlete to not only succeed but to excel. And again, I think that this is a really cool part of it. You talk about things like identify movement deficits and weaknesses, monitor flexibility changes, assessing running mechanics. And so because you guys are experts basically on how the body works, you can optimize an athlete's performance even from a young age like this.
Yeah, no, and it's one of those that, like, we just bring to the table the things that, like, sometimes we forget, like, hey, like, they are kids, they are growing, like, don't forget that, hey, their bones grow faster than what their muscles and ligaments are able to keep up with. So whenever your kid does sprain their ankle or something happens, and you're like, why is this happening? Like, they've gone through a growth spurt. Like, these things are happening. So, like, their coordination is going to be off. Their neuromuscular control is going to be different than an adult. Like, when I tell you soft landing, like, quiet feet, like, you're going to be able to jump and make that quiet. When I tell that to a 10 or 11-year-old, like, that is not always an easy task to, like, accomplish. So we also have to adjust the way that we expect them to perform. And that's one of those that it's really interesting because each kid is different. So what we will assess with that kid is going to be different each time. But I just got through a full, like, running course, like, learning to analyze running form and looking for different deficits and stuff like that. So that's interesting. So we're able to do that now, where we're able to, like, have a kid or have an adult run on the treadmill. We assess things posteriorly, like, to the side, see what deficits are there, and then it's going to be different from an endurance runner compared to a sprinter. So, like, we can basically, like, hey, this is what we're showing. These are the drills we need you to do to try to make that a little bit better.
That's tremendous. All right. We got anything in the chat over there, Chewy?
No, just Brett coming in saying good morning and saying hello to you, Sam.
Hello.
Good morning, Brett. All right. Well, it is the starting lineup. She is Sam Canup from Inspired Physiotherapy. We're going to post the article here probably right after the show, and you guys can read more about understanding the youth athlete, growth, injury risk, and physical therapy. Sam, thank you so much for this article and for coming in this morning.
Thank you, guys.
I'm excited. I've only gotten to, like, skim through this thing.
I usually get it to you pretty late.
Huh?
I usually get it to you pretty late.
But I'm really excited to go in depth on it, and I may reach out with some questions. If folks have questions, how can they reach you guys over there at Inspired Physiotherapy?
Yeah, you can find us on our, like, Facebook page. Our website is still not updated, so find us on Facebook and contact us that way. But if you call the clinic, Rachel will be able to get you in contact with me.
And they're located over there in the Walmart shopping plaza, right there in the corner.
Yes, right next to Raphael's.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and have a tremendous day. Welcome back. I hope that you had a good trip.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah,
we were on a Disney cruise.
Yeah,
so it was good stuff.
Why do I get the Disney princess vibes from her? Right?
Absolutely, because I had a crown on last week. It was good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Well, Princess Sam, we'll send you off, and we'll get you back to work fixing folks.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you again.
Appreciate it.
We'll be back on the other side. It is the starting lineup. You're listening to ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
Stimulant misuse can take many forms. It may involve abusing methamphetamine or prescribed ADHD medication. Both carry real risks when not used safely or under medical supervision. Prevention starts with education and open communication. The Franklin County Prevention Coalition provides tools and local resources to help families make informed decisions. When we stay proactive, we are stronger together, and we are stronger without it. Learn more at fcpctn.org. This project is funded under a grant contract with the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
Got a project to tackle or a party to plan? Skip the stress and rent it instead at Reliable Rental in Winchester. From tools and heavy-duty machines to chairs, tables, and event essentials, they've got what you need to get the job done right. Whether it's work or a weekend celebration, Reliable Rental makes it easy. Stop by 2433 Deckard Boulevard in Winchester, or check out everything they offer online at ReliableRentalFC.com. Reliable Rental. When you need it, they've got
it. From the
it.
931 Weather Center, it's time for an ESPN Winchester weather update.
More warm weather headed your way. Today's going to be a bright, sunny day with a high of 79 degrees this afternoon. Calm winds becoming around 5 miles per hour in the morning and staying that way for the rest of the day to keep you nice and cool on this hot summer's day. Stay tuned to ESPN Radio Winchester for all of your wonderful weather updates.
It's Larry Shelby, previously on the Paul Feinbaum Show.
You know what, Chris? Let me tell you something. Why don't you go catch your breath before commenting on somebody else's? And hacksaw Tuscaloosa Jim Duggan. is shut up, because I could strike you out blindfolded, pitching underhand with both arms tied behind my back.
Okay, why don't we take a break? I'm pretty exhausted.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, weekdays at 3 Eastern on the ESPN app and on the SEC Network.
There was an outline for today's show, but it didn't survive the opening segment. Back to Joe and Chewy on the starting lineup right here on ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
Back here on the starting lineup, ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester. Today is a Mayhem Monday, and when I say it's a Mayhem Monday, I'm not playing around here. Okay, I'm not joking around here. All right, so we're about to go out to Poultry Electric. We just had Sam in, Dr. Knupp. Is she a doctor? She would be a doctor, right?
Physiotherapist.
Okay. Well, we just had Sam Knupp in. I gotta ask her that from Inspired Physiotherapy. We are gonna have a doctor on later today. Dr. Roger Alsop is gonna be in studio with us in hour number 2, and so we're literally moving from like one thing to the next. And today is a Mayhem Monday, but you can get involved in the show this morning by heading on over to the Facebook feed presented by the folks at FMO, and jump in, get involved. Speaking of somebody who likes to jump in and get involved in all kinds of projects, we'll go out to Poultry Electric and Pro Hardware now and talk to, is it Jeff?
Yep, we got Jeff this morning.
Good morning, Jeff.
You got Jeffrey on the phone this morning, you know. Christy said she looked down at the phone. I'm at her desk. I'm getting my paperwork for the day out of the file. You know, she gives him in my morning chores is what she does.
Yeah.
And she says, I'm not answering that phone today. You're talking. now, how do you about that? You know, you just do it, right?
Yeah. It must be that she doesn't like Chewy or something like that. But
she told me that Chewy was ugly is what she told me.
Well, he is. That's actually honestly a compliment to him.
You and I agree with that too. You know.
Yeah.
And then she's in the background. I did not say that. You're telling Phil this morning.
That's why I keep him around. He makes me look good in comparison. So I get it.
But Chewy is like this. Christy did not say that. I said that.
Brutal.
And, you know, it's like me calling the pot. What is it? What's
the kettle black?
Kettle calling the pot
that's
black.
It, you know. but I will go out on a limb here and say this. Okay, I'm the judge of this character.
Okay.
I think I'm a little better looking than Chewy. That's just my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. Okay.
I don't know. He's got kind of that burly, hairy. You know, some ladies like that.
I haven't been in the Good News magazine either yet. So.
Yeah, they wouldn't put you in there, dude.
Well, a lot of people saying they're putting that in the garden this year to keep the birds out of the garden. You know?
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. I didn't know that was coming out. I got mine and I flipped it open and there's your pretty face and I was like, goodness gracious.
Well, Chewy's going to get me on Friday. You know, it's just him and I on Friday evening on the drive home.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I've got something coming back. He has 4 days to prepare for me talking about him this morning.
Yeah, well, if he doesn't, you better watch your back. He knows where to find you over there at Poultry
Electric. He does
Electric.
know where to find me here at Poultry Electric Pro Hardware. But you know what? If he comes to my establishment where we sell all kinds of hardware items, okay? We have sledgehammers, which is the big hammers. We got them in 4 pound. We got them in 6 pound. We got them in 8 pound. We got them in 12 pound. But now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not man enough to swing a 12-pound sledgehammer.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't know if I could lift that up.
Yeah. Our number one sledgehammer we sell is about the 6-pounder.
Yeah.
And then along, while we're going down this path here, we might as well just talk about them, right? We have your splitting mauls, and you know what a splitting maul is, right? If you're chopping wood, you need a splitting maul. Then we got the single bit axe, we got the double bit axe, we got the little machetes, we got the hatchets, we've got the little short 2-pound hammers, we've got the 4-pound hammers. They call it the striking tool section, okay?
Yeah. This show went
and
dark real quick.
I throw all that in the striking tool section because I know Chewy's going to be after me, right?
There you go.
So I have a complete line of striking tools here at the hardware store, you know.
Right.
No, not throwing nothing out there and giving anybody any ideas or anything now. But in that same section back there, and it's stuff that, we talk about the same stuff weekly there. It's our number one sellers, appliances and propane gas and so on and so forth. But then right after that section, we have a push broom section that is 12 foot long. It literally has about 16 different styles of push brooms. Now, would you imagine that you can have 16 different styles of a broom?
No. No.
You have some fine bristle push brooms back there, like if you're sweeping your garage up, you may be able some fine dust and things there. Then you have a construction type push broom back there that has really, really stiff bristles on it. And then you've got some that's got the heavy-duty brace on it that goes out to the push broom head, comes back to the handle so it doesn't flex, it doesn't bow. I mean, you get real serious. The world gets real serious, and some of these contractors get real serious about their dustpans and their push brooms, There's one back there that has a metal blade on the opposite side.
Yeah.
So you flip it over, you scrape it with that metal blade, and then you flip your broom back over, then you sweep it.
That's a pretty good idea. We've got about 5 brooms around here at the shop, and we don't ever use any one of them.
You know what? As soon as you said that, we back here in the regular broom section. You've got angled, you got flat, you've got warehouse brooms, you've got what they call a corn broom. We never use brooms around here.
Yeah.
Now we do have one boy that works in the store, Justin. If it wasn't for Justin, Christy loves Justin. Because Justin is the only one that will take the push mop and sweep the store.
Ah.
And my wife really loves him because I guess if it was up to the rest of us guys in here, the store never would get swept.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. Well,
Miss Donna, Miss Donna Steele, Tommy and Donna, they opened this place up years ago, and I work for them, and she was a clean freak, and she made us clean, and this place was so clean when Donna was here.
Yeah.
And I was part of cleaning that, and nowadays I don't clean very well, So when Miss Donna comes in here, she just gives me that look and lowers that head, and I have to just do the walk of shame and just show my head, and I know exactly what she's talking about because the store is just a mess compared to what Donna did.
One of the things that I love about the store is anytime I walk in there, I learn that there's like weird tools and things for stuff that I didn't even know there were things for. You could walk through that store and find projects to do just by the fact that you realize, they have a tool for that. And it's pretty amazing the amount of stuff that you guys carry.
And odd that you bring that up. We had a homeowner doing his own work a couple 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he walks into the store and he says, "Hey, I'm trying to knock my baseboard and my quarter-round trim off so I can replace it." He said, "It's beat up. It's been there for 100 years." He said, "But I've been trying to take the claw on my hammer, like a claw hammer, and I've been trying to get behind there and knock it off." He says, "And the way the claw on the hammer is curved there, it's made to pull a nail,
Right.
We use it for everything. You know that.
Yeah.
We're men. We're going to make something work if we can." So anyways, he says, "But it won't go because the head keeps hitting the wall before the claws gets behind." I said, "Oh, walk right down here on aisle 2. And I have a little tool back here that is it's made to rip trim off the walls. And the contractors use it. So when they're putting new floors down or they're painting, they rip the trim off the wall and it doesn't damage the trim. and they're able to put the trim right back on the wall once they get their floor fixed, you know. So I went down through there and handed it to him. He said, "You've got to be joking."
Yeah.
He said, "I've been in that room for 4 hours trying to rip the trim off, and this is his second trip after he's coming back talking about the tool." He said, "I went home within 5 minutes. I had the trim off the wall."
Yeah.
He said, "It was so simple." He
Yeah.
said, "Why did I not stop here 5 hours ago?"
Yeah.
You know?
I try and tell people
perfect
that.
example.
Yeah.
Perfect example, you know.
I try and tell people that is if you have the right tool for the job, man, it makes it go by so much quicker, and you'll find the right tool over there at Poultry Electric and Pro Hardware.
And one more quick story,
Yeah.
and when we go, the lady comes in here and she says, "I've hung this big heavy mirror on the wall, and the first night it didn't fall now, but she said I had it perfectly level. Got up the next day, it wasn't level." She said my husband come home, got to look, and it was so heavy that it was ripping the nails out of the sheetrock. So he said, "No, you can't do it like that." She said, "Well, yeah, I can do it like that." Well, she didn't listen to him. She did it again. 2 days later, it's about to fall off the wall again.
Right.
So she finally comes into the hardware store. She tells us the situation. We go back here on the aisle here, and we get her a picture hanging kit that is good for 60 pounds, up to 60 pounds, you know. And she takes it, and we see her 3 or 4 days later, and she says, "Hey, the mirror hung on the wall has been there for a week now without leaning or without ripping out of the wall." She said, "I never knew there was specialty stuff for hanging heavy pieces on the wall, you know." So,
Yeah, that's
anyway,
exactly it.
There's no dumb questions in the hardware store. If it's a question, I promise you we've seen it, we've heard it, we've talked about it. So come and see us here at Poultry Electric Pro Hardware. I promise you, if you've got a project going on, we'll have an answer, we'll have a suggestion. We may not have the proper thing here, but we'll at least walk you down the line of how to do it, when to do it, and how it's supposed to be done. Got a very knowledgeable staff. I have to really commend my staff here. They're very knowledgeable. You don't walk into the big store, the big boxes, and get hardly any help, you know.
Right.
You walk into Poultry Electric Pro Hardware, you get a knowledgeable helper. So come and see us. Hey, if you got appliances, need appliances, come and see us on that. I was out and about Friday night at Twin Creeks. There's a guy went and bought a washer and dryer. He walked up to Scotty and I. We were sitting there talking. He said, "I just got back from Brand X getting a washer and dryer." Said, "I just needed a cheap washer and dryer to have down here at the lake house." And I said, "Well, we don't sell cheap appliances. We sell inexpensive appliances." He said, "I didn't even know y'all had appliances." He said, "I'd have just soon stopped there and got it from y'all than drive the Brand X, you know." So, hey, we do have appliances, okay? So, anyways, hey, come and see us. All week we'll be here. Looks like we've got some rain coming, maybe some time to do some Benjamin Moore paint. If the rain does get here, we need the rain. I'm not gonna cry about rain this week if we got it coming because we're dry here. So Benjamin will be a good time to do some Benjamin Moore paint, do some painting inside the house. 1991 Sharp Springs Road, right across the road from the Crystals. Find us on the web at poultryelectric.com. Call us at 967-7351.
All right, brother. Well, speaking of Scotty, we got to call him up for trivia.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, he's next.
I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna listen, and I was down at his place Friday, so there's no telling what y'all will talk about. And tell Chewy, no, he cannot do too much to me Friday on the drive home when he calls me. He's got a week to think about it. Okay, he's not ugly. He's just not as good looking as I am.
Well, I mean, you're so good looking that it's not a huge step down. You know,
my mother tells me that. My mother tells me. I've never had another lady tell me that, but my mother. I don't know what that's telling me.
I don't know. It's like Brad Pitt, then you, Jeff, and then Chewy, and then Scotty. It was right under him.
No. Scotty, I promise you, Scotty is the ugliest in Franklin County. He will get that award.
All right, I'll let him know that you said that one.
All right, thank you now.
All right, brother. That is Jeff over at Poultry Electric. All right, speaking of Scotty.
Let's just go ahead and jump in.
Yeah, let's turn it around, which we appreciate you tuning in this morning to the starting lineup. Apparently, Jeff found the one guy in Franklin County who doesn't listen to our show because he didn't know that you could find appliances over there at Poultry Electric and Pro Hardware. but you can. And if he would listen to the show, he would have known that, Chewy.
Yeah.
See what's going on with Scotty over there. Hey, buddy, how are you?
Hey, good morning.
We just got done with Jeff, and he said that you're the ugliest guy in Franklin County. I just wanted to start by saying that.
He said, I what?
He said, you're the ugliest guy in Franklin County.
He started taking shots at everybody here.
I used to be, but Jeff took over that spot here a couple years ago.
Oh, man. How are you, brother?
Doing good. What about y'all?
We can't complain. So it's just absolutely been gorgeous, perfect drafts and watercrafts weather, my friend.
It has, for sure.
How has this season started up over there? How are things going? You guys falling into the groove?
Yeah, we have. You know, our first few weeks that we opened was a little rocky. It was pretty chilly. You know, we had some cold weather there. So,
right.
But now it's warmed back up, and it's summertime, and we're rocking and rolling. You know, coming up this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, which is one of the biggest weekends on the lake. It's took over. I feel like Memorial Day now is busier than 4th of July. So
yeah, it is insane. And I tell you what, I got my first slice. I say slice. I had like 3/4 of a bacon pickle pizza just this past week. Katie and Chewy and Terry got a chance to go over there, and they brought me back a pizza. So I was very, very happy about that. What you guys got going on this week over there at Drafts?
Well, like I said, Memorial Day weekend coming up, so we've got a full week going on. Tonight's trivia starts at 6:30. We've got Peter Moon there tomorrow night from 5 to 8. We are doing Singo on Wednesday night. This Thursday night is week 1 of Lake Idle. We're starting our Lake Idle this week.
Nice.
So we've got that going on. We're giving away $1,000 again this year to the winner. Jack Daniels, our sponsor. We do sign-up starting at 6 p.m., and the Idle starts at 7. So, we do that every year. We pick 14 winners. We do it for 14 weeks, and those 14 will compete for $1,000 that we're giving away. So we have that going on. Friday night, we've got a band called Off the Hook. Be starting at 7 o'clock. Saturday night, we got a band called Steel 6 that will be starting at 7 o'clock. And then Sunday, we have a band called Sticky Kim. We'll be playing from 7 o'clock until 10:30 all 3 nights. So we've got entertainment, something going on every day this week.
That's tremendous. And for people who maybe don't know what Singo is on Wednesday, how would you describe Singo to them?
I describe it as bingo with music. So instead of calling out numbers, they'll play a little tidbit of a song, and if your card has that song on it, you mark it instead of doing numbers. So, and the Singo, she'll give you the name of the song also. So it just makes bingo a little bit more interesting with the music.
Yeah. I love it. Love it. So tonight is trivia over there. You mentioned 6:30 is when it gets started. But you guys start filling up pretty early, so I would suggest folks either call in and kind of reserve their space or get over there a little bit early tonight, right?
That's right. If you want to call in your team, we start setting up tables around 2 o'clock. So if you have a team, you can call us in ahead of 2 or message us on Facebook or wherever you want to get in contact with us, and we'll have you a table saved tonight.
2 o'clock they start setting up, Drew. That means you can get over there pretty early and start like pre-gaming for trivia.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
All right, brother. Well, what do you got for us for trivia today? What will somebody win if they get today's trivia question right? And then, obviously, we talk about this time and time again that if you take today's answer with you, store it away in the recesses of your mind. This is going to be one of the questions today at trivia over there at Drafts and Watercrafts. But what will somebody win today?
If they win and haven't won in the past 30 days, we're going to give away what you just brought up. We're going to give away a bacon and pickle pizza.
Ooh, nice one. I like it.
So
I like it a lot.
Bacon and pickle, it's our famous bacon and pickle. It's one of our number one sellers. Has dill pickle on it, bacon, and the ranch on the pizza the base on the pizza is ranch.
Yeah.
So,
It's tremendous.
Very good, yeah.
All right, so load this number into your phone, 931-967-3500. That's 931-967-3500. And, all right, Scotty, what do you got for us for trivia today?
Now, they have to redeem that pizza today. They can either do it during lunch or they can do it tonight. So,
Okay.
All right. Are you a 80s movies person?
Somewhat.
One of my favorite movies
in
the 80s was The Breakfast Club.
Okay.
Did you ever watch that movie? The movie?
I did.
All right. Breakfast Club was set in a fictional town. What was the name of the town and the state that it was in? Where the movie? It's a fictional town that the Breakfast Club was set in. What town and state?
Oh, that's a good question. The number is 931-967-3500. What was the town and state, the fictional town and state that the Breakfast Club was set in? 931-967-3500.
Wow, that was fast.
Yeah, we got a caller already. I'm going to hear this one, and I'm going to slap my forehead. All right, caller, what's your guess?
Is it Shermer, Illinois?
What did she say?
Repeat it.
Shermer, Illinois.
That's correct. It's Shermer, Illinois.
Yep.
All right, who we got here, caller?
Robin McDaniel.
All right.
Well, all right, congratulations, Miss Robin. You have won a bacon pickle pizza over there at Drafts and Watercrafts.
All righty, thank you.
So people don't know it's Shermer, Shermer, Illinois.
Yeah. So that is that's a really good question, and I will bet there's a lot of people, and I know she got it quick, but I will bet that there's a lot of people who would go to trivia tonight that would not remember the name of Shermer, Illinois, if it wasn't for this show this morning. So if you were tuned in this morning, you're going to have an advantage.
You know, sometimes I'll do it just to see how many people listen. I'll say, I won't even ask the question. I'll just say, give us the answer that was on the radio question.
I like that.
So I'll do it. And what's surprised? I'd say, we have between 17 and 20 teams
right
every week. And at least 90% of them will know the answer.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's because they're listening to our show. Maybe it's because the trivia, maybe not. I don't know. But
That's right. So, hey, it's good. You get the power of the radio out to people.
Well, we appreciate you, brother, and keep up the great work over there at Drafts. It is. It's I don't know. Some people call it like we're entering the summer and all the things. I don't call it summer. It's Drafts and Watercraft season is what it is.
We need to come up with a new award for Jeff. Some kind of. I got to figure out if I'm the ugliest person in Franklin County, we got to figure out what he is.
Yeah. Well, he's a lot of things, so I'm sure it won't be too hard.
We may have given an award of the week or so many of them.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, we got about 7 days to think about it, and we'll figure out what we come up with here come next Monday. But brother, have a tremendous week over there at Drafts and Watercrafts.
All right, y'all too. Talk to you later. Thank you.
That is Scotty out at Drafts and trivia tonight, 6:30. Be there or be a square.
Jody Farrell jumped in this morning saying, "Good morning, gentlemen." Good morning, Jody. Sam Davidson said, "Thanks, Chewy, for coming out on Saturday. Presley and Creed were so happy to see you." I did.
Whoa.
I went and I saw their baseball game. That was a lot of fun.
Okay, let's sneak a quick break in here. And when we come back, you can tell us about it. I've got some really funny stories too that we may have a chance to get into in hour number 2. But we also are going to have Dr. Roger Alsip coming in hour number 2, and I've got some pressing questions for him that we're going to get into. So once we get through with Dr. Alsip, We'll get into some of that other stuff. We may have just a few minutes, but before we do that, I want to hear about the baseball game with Chewy. We can sneak that in before the top of the hour, I think. So let's do that really quick. We'll be back on the other side. It is the starting lineup. ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
Spring is in the air, and so are fresh new savings at Furniture Merchandise Outlet, FMO, right here in Tullahoma. Ready to refresh your space? From living rooms and bedrooms to dining sets and mattresses, FMO has the styles you want at prices you'll love. No long waits, no sticker shock. Just take it home today. Visit them at 105 North Jackson Street in Tullahoma or browse anytime at FMOTN.com. Furniture Merchandise Outlet, where spring cleaning turns into a spring upgrade.
JLS Landscaping wants to give a big shout out to the graduating seniors of Franklin County High School and Huntland High School, class of 2026. Just like a great landscape, success takes time, patience, and a lot of hard work. And today proves your effort has paid off. Whether your next step is college, the workforce, trade school, or something completely on your own, keep growing and chasing your goals. Your future is full of opportunity. Congratulations from everyone at JLS Landscaping.
Mirage Pools and Spas is proud to honor the class of 2026 across Franklin County. Graduation is more than a ceremony. It's a celebration of your hard work, your resilience, and your journey to this point. Each of you has a unique path ahead, and the possibilities are endless. As you take that next step, carry with you the pride of your accomplishments and the support of your hometown. Congratulations, seniors, and the best of luck from Mirage Pools and Spas in Winchester.
It's time for a local news break from the 931 Go News Center.
The Franklin County Mayor's Office is thanking the community for coming together in a powerful show of unity and faith on Thursday, May 7th, as residents gathered for the TN 250 celebration and the National Day of Prayer. County leaders described the evening as an overwhelming blessing, made possible by the support of volunteers, organizers, local churches, and community members. From prayers lifted across the field to the countless hours of preparation behind the scenes, officials said the event reflected the strength and heart of Franklin County. A major highlight of the celebration was the unveiling of new murals created by local artists Karen Engel, Barbara Dwyer, Carol Ann Stevens, Kristen Abraham, and Christy J. Organizers emphasized that the gathering was more than just a celebration. It was a moment of unity centered on faith, history, and shared love for the Franklin County community. Meanwhile, at Franklin County High School, the class of 2026 officially closed one chapter and opened another on May 14th. In front of a packed football stadium, seniors tossed their caps into the air and celebrated graduation day. In a message released by the school, administrators praised the class for filling the halls with pride, spirit, and accomplishment. From academics to athletics, fine arts to leadership roles, the class of 2026 left its mark across the campus. Special recognition was given to valedictorian Ruby Webb and salutatorian Molly Casey, honored as this year's top academic leaders. Quoting author Roald Dahl, "You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. Oh, the places you'll go." Congratulations to the Franklin County High School class of 2026 from everyone in your community. For more stories and to view student photo galleries, visit 931go.com. Stay informed and stay connected to your community with ESPN Radio Winchester.
This is ESPN Radio Winchester, where Franklin County comes to life. From local news and athletics to everything in between, we're proud to bring you the stories that matter right here at home. And it's all made possible by local businesses connecting with real people in our community every single day. When you support them, you support our local coverage. Over 75 years of Franklin County heritage. Want your business to be a part of it? Contact WCDT today. ESPN Radio Winchester. Franklin County plays here.
I don't know what to tell you. I know it's not much, but this is the best they've got. You're listening to the starting lineup on ESPN Radio, WCDT Winchester.
Back here on the starting lineup, ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester. Joe Abraham alongside Chewy, and we've got some special guests coming up for you at the top of hour number 2. But before we do all of that, we got to go out to Heath Automotive. Otherwise, I'm going to be honest with you. We're not going to fit them in today. I mean, we got so much stuff. We are jam-packed. It is a Mayhem Monday, and so we're going to sneak him in. And I apologize, again, in classic Joe fashion. I previewed something that we're not going to get to talk to Chewy about his experience over the baseball game just yet. Not yet. But we will go out to Heath Automotive and talk to Steve this morning. Steve, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Joe. Good morning.
Just beautiful weather out there. And, you know, a lot of folks, we've talked about this, a lot of folks are going to be taking trips. A lot of folks are going to be traveling. You're going to have kids coming back from college and all the things. And then before next school year, before kids head off, you know, you're going to want to get their vehicle in as well to Heath Automotive and make sure that it's geared up and ready to go as they, you know, head out. As far as you guys go, when you work on students' vehicles, what are some of the funny, funky things that maybe you see when you get kids' vehicles in here? Because it's got to be pretty interesting at times.
Well, yeah, it can be. Gee, I got some embarrassing stories when it comes. And it's not so much students, it's just a inexperienced driver.
Right.
Not having, you know, it's just like driving a vehicle and owning and maintaining a vehicle, especially in this country, is a learning life experience. And until you experience something, you really maybe don't know how to handle it.
Steve,
we do a lot of.
It's okay to embarrass somebody other than me. I got embarrassed last week for my whole snafu. Let's embarrass somebody else for once.
Well, the classic always, and it's happened more than once, believe it or not, but the classic was the young lady coming in from school. She had a flat on the interstate at night. I'm sure she just very freaked out about it. What do I do? You know, I've got a flat tire. I've got to do something. It's at night. I'm on the interstate. Strangers. You know, there's just a whole lot of things that come into that mix.
Yeah.
And I understand. But anyway, a Good Samaritan stopped, and he put her spare on for her. And so Dad brings it in the next day to get a tire put on. And in doing so, he drops it off, leaves it with us, and we get to that vehicle and we open the trunk to get the spare out, and there's no wheel. There's no jack. There's no tire tool. So we call him up and going, okay, we've gotten to your daughter's car, and but where's the wheel? And he said, well, it's in the trunk. He's looking in the trunk. I said, I guess that's where it's at. And I said, no, it's not there. So he said, oh no. He said, let me talk to her and find out. Well, he calls me back. He's kind of been out of shape a little bit. He says, well, evidently, just as soon as she was scared, and as soon as the guy put the tire on for her, stopped and helped her, she put it in gear and drove off.
Oh, wow.
So some poor guy was left on the side of the interstate with the young lady's flat tire, wheel, jack, and tire tool. Who knows, maybe a wheel cover, too. It's been a while now. But that was a classic one right there. So,
yeah.
And you can kind of understand how it happened. And
yeah.
But I've had more than one less than happy parent in dealing with their inexperienced drivers. So.
As far as replacing tires, you know, we're coming up on Memorial Day weekend. Do you guys have any rebates going on, manufacturer rebates going on that people can take advantage of right now?
All kind of rebates. We're coming up on the end of a Hankook rebate that's been very popular. We're putting some on today. I think we got 3 sets going on today that I just looked at the schedule that are all Hankooks, and they'll all be taking advantage of rebates or sometimes multiple rebates depending upon what they're getting. Cooper just came out with theirs is a tiered rebate depending upon the line of tires, how much you can get back. It'll be like $100 for the more premium tires, $70 for other lines down into the, I think maybe it's a $40 or $50 range on Coopers. And then you've got those type of rebates going on with multiple manufacturers and distributors right now. Nitto, Nexon, I'll say it right here in a moment.
There you go.
Have rebates, and a lot more. So
yeah,
it's a great time to come in and save money on tires. Don't fret about what's the best tire that I can get a rebate on. Come in and discuss with us what you're looking for, your type of driving, what you've got on there now. We look at what all you've got going on, how you use the vehicle, what your budget is and all. And a lot of times we can save you some very good money on a new set of tires.
Tremendous stuff. Well, folks can find you on the web at heathautomotivetire.com. Where can they find you in real life, my friend?
Well, the web is a great source to go to for some of the rebates that are going. Most of the time, all of them are on there, but there's others besides that. But we'd love to see your smiling face come through the door. We're at 501 First Avenue Southwest in Winchester. That's 4 blocks off the square. You can give us a call at 967-3880.
All right, brother. Well, you're going to be talking to Chewy later on this afternoon as well, I believe, on the afternoon show. So we'll talk to you again very soon.
Very good. I look forward to it.
All right, brother. That is Heath Automotive, again, right here in town. And I'll tell you what, I used them just last week to get Katie's Suburban back on the road and running smoothly. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, Joe. We appreciate y'all.
Again, Steve doing a great job over there at Heath Automotive. And I'm serious. If I trust my family to roll down the road with their work, then you should too. They do great work over there, and they do have a ton of rebates online at heathautomotivetire.com. All right, so any second now, we should be getting the call from some excited kids over there at Deckard Elementary School for the Pledge of Allegiance, which is brought to you each and every day by the folks over there at Tennessee Cardiology and Dr. Basaraba. Were you looking at the screen like you got something? You got somebody jumping in, or are you just looking at?
I was just making sure all the cameras were on and working.
Okay.
Yeah, that's sorry.
Your eyes widened, and usually that's the look when somebody makes a comment in the chat box.
Well, Doug Garrett, while we were talking, did say baseball game. He was asking. That's code for Chewy going to a scooter syndicate meeting.
Yeah,
they are colluding right under your nose, Joe.
Yeah,
right
I know
on cue.
I know it. They are colluders.
All right.
Let's go out to Deckard Elementary.
Good morning, Deckard.
Good morning, WCDT.
How are you guys out there this morning?
We are marvelous on this Monday morning. How are you guys?
I'm doing pretty well. We've got some important guests in here this morning listening in, so I would say I want to hear how good of a pledge do you guys think you could have this morning?
I think that we've got kindergarten up here ready to pledge their hearts out.
All right, let's hear it.
Good morning, Franklin County. Please join Deckard Elementary and salute and pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Absolutely beautiful pledge this morning, guys. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's wonderful. Our inside's up this morning. Right here. Hey, and your name? My name's Abigail. Abigail. What kind of key will open a banana?
I don't know.
A monkey.
That's a cute one.
Very cute. Well, you guys have a wonderful day out there, okay, Deckard?
Y'all too. Thank you so much.
See ya. What kind of key will open a banana? A monkey, they say. That was really cute.
That was a pretty good performance, I gotta say.
That was pretty decent.
You never know what you're gonna get when you get the young ones in
the
youngins in there.
Are my favorite because like sometimes you know what I mean. They freestyle a little bit, and I really appreciate that. You know.
Well, speaking of some folks who are fairly familiar with what goes on over there at Deckard Elementary and what goes on over there at the elementary schools, we got Dr. Alsop in studio with us to start off hour number 2, and he has brought with him Miss Amy Greer. And so good morning to both of you. How are you today?
Good.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a great Monday.
It is a great Monday. It's beautiful outside right now. The kids, I know, are spending a lot of time outside enjoying things like field day and the like. And they're getting set. They're getting excited for summer break, which I guess raises the first question that I would have for y'all is, here for these summer months, how does summer school set up with everything that goes on? We consider the school year as so important, but that doesn't mean that you all stop working, right?
Oh, that's right. I'll let Amy talk about summer school.
So summer school is actually one of the hats that I wear. And,
yeah.
Summer school starts June 1st. So imagine that. We have we have next week with kind of no kids in the building, and then we start right back on June 1st with the summer school.
As far as how, so I did 1 year of summer school actually when I moved from one school district to another. Actually, it was from one state to another. New York, or not New York. It was from Florida to Alabama, and so when I moved up, I was behind in one of my classes, and I needed to get caught up. Mm-hmm. But for me, you think so often about summer school, and the movies portray it to be this negative experience and all the things. I flippin' loved summer school. It was awesome. But talk about summer school and how important it is, because for whatever reason, kids may need to attend some summer classes. But talk about that and kind of combating both that stigma, but also taking on, it's an important responsibility to make sure that these kids are up to speed and where they need to be, and all the things that you guys do at summer school.
Sure. So this year we've really changed our summer school model. In the past, we've kind of left it open to whoever would want to register for summer school. And this year we've kind of streamlined it down to students who may be struggling, students who may be a little bit behind. And then, of course, we've got those third graders who may get caught up in that retention cycle with the state. So
right.
if they don't make approaching, or if they make approaching or below on their TCAP test, then they need to come to summer school to kind of fulfill that TCAP law that the state of Tennessee has put out. So, and then in middle and high school, that's Rachel's baby. She does students who are failing, I think it's 2 or more subjects or something along those lines.
Okay.
And so, but we're all, middle and elementary schools are all together for summer school. We're all in the same building. So we're going to do 3 sites this summer. Summer school will be held at Rock Creek, Clark Memorial, and Huntland School.
Okay.
And for our elementary kids, we really try to make it fun as well. It's not just, like you said, drilling and making, we do want to make sure that they get caught up and that those days are productive. But we also try to build some fun things in there for them to do, some visits from maybe the park rangers at Tim's Ford or other places that the kids can get some outside experience during summer school as well.
Right. Well, so for the elementary school students, because that's your kind of your baby, right?
Correct.
Your area of focus. Yeah. So how do you identify who needs summer support? Is it based primarily on testing? Is it, teachers that identify that? How does that work?
So for pre-K through 5 grades, teachers can refer students, principals can refer students, and that would just be based on how well the kid is doing in the classroom. It could be based on some test scores that we have, some data that we have that we've been tracking that student with. So those grade levels are highly teacher recommended or data recommended.
Okay, very cool. So switching gears a little bit, Dr. Alsop, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
I am tremendous. We've got a big transition for you coming soon, and I know
what would that be?
Well, I've noticed that you've been kind of again, and you and Dr. Holman have been working on this transition, but you've been taking on more and more responsibilities here as of late. And I just want to just ask you, how are things going? How are they coming along? How's the process looking?
Well, the transition is very busy.
Yeah.
It's going great. I am getting more and more comfortable. There are different things that I am not used to doing that I'm getting involved in, and talking with Dr. Holman daily, about various things that have to do with running a school district.
Yeah.
I've been in the school business for 35 years, so I have a pretty good idea, what's going on and how things are done, best practices. But being in that seat it's a little bit different.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things as far as summer school is concerned that I think is probably something that is part of the process, the decision-making process, is attendance. Kids, making sure that kids are in the classroom. Again, part of my challenges in the past, when I seemed to fall behind and struggle from a grade standpoint, it was usually attendance related.
Right.
And there were only one or two times, but I would have like an extended illness or something like that would keep me out. And next thing you know, you miss some days. And it's hard because a lot of the things that these kids are learning, compound on they build on the next thing.
Exactly.
But it's also very important for the school district. From the school district standpoint, you've found that out here as of late as well.
Sure. Yeah, that's part of our state funding has to do with our student attendance, and so it is important. But mainly it's like you're saying. If you miss school, you're going to get behind.
Yeah.
And if you have something that's going on that is going to cause you as a student to miss a lot of days, the more you miss, the farther you are behind. And even though there are ways of getting that material made up and getting caught up, if you're not sitting in that classroom listening to that teacher, you're going to miss things. Just to kind of go back and touch on the summer school, that is another reason why we would want a student to attend summer school, to help kind of get caught up because of things that happen that may be outside of their control, an attendance situation. And another thing that we know as educators is that our students decline during the summer.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
2 months, and they're going to decline. And some students are able to deal with that better than others.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's good to have at least a month where you can have those kids that don't decline as much. and we are also going to have, we have summer school at the high school, but that's really a different situation.
Right.
It's more of a credit recovery.
Okay.
So talking about attendance, you have a kid at the high school that has missed for various reasons, fail a class, a required class for graduation. That month of June is an opportunity for them to go in and work on those classes. It's online. It's not the same as having a teacher. But we do have teachers there to help tutor them, help get them through the program. So that's a great way for the kids who might be credit deficient to get caught up or, to stay, caught up with their credits so they can graduate on time.
You mentioned, the extended period outside of the classroom, and I think they call that learning loss, Chewy. You and I have had quite a bit of learning loss, or less. No, but how can maybe parents and I'll give my insight on this. The library is my suggestion. But how can parents help their kids avoid a little bit of learning loss over the summer months if they're worried about that? Because I do remember there was a couple of years ago when my kids were in that elementary school age. One of my kids had learned how to read and basically forgot over summer break.
Oh, yeah.
But it is a real thing.
It is for sure. I would suggest the library as well. They have so many great children's programs during the summer that you can really get involved in. Checking books out for your students to read at home. Read, and then
read some more.
Right.
Read some more.
That's tremendous. All right. So as far as this past year went, it is one of the big conversations that we always kind of refer back to is testing scores and things like that. Is there any kind of insight as far as how testing went this past year, or do you guys have that information yet already, or what does that look like?
That's also one of the hats that I wear.
Oh, okay. We're talking to the right person then.
Yeah. Some of the scores actually dropped this weekend, and I have not taken a look at those yet. EOC's dropped and ALT testing dropped, which some of our students with disabilities take an ALT test, so I have their scores. I do not have any TCAP scores yet. So
when you say dropped, you say like came in?
They're in.
Okay. And I just want to clarify that because people hear dropped, they might think that the score level dropped.
No. They just came to us. Now, I haven't opened those and started digging into them yet. That'll be a job that gets done this week. TCAP scores we're still waiting on. So third grade retake is Wednesday, the last full day of school. And so we have from Monday today until Wednesday to determine who may need to take that retake test.
And you guys haven't even gotten them yet?
And we don't have any scores yet. So this is typical. This happens every year. Nobody panic.
Right.
But it's a crazy 3 days of trying to figure out who needs to take a retake and how we're going to get that done on the last full day of school. So.
Yeah, certainly. Well, now, and two, another question in regard to the testing and the data that comes back from that. I guess from a district standpoint and all the things, how do you guys use the data to maybe adjust or augment some of the things that you guys do from a strategy standpoint and how you adjust? Because it seems like having that data would be very helpful, but also almost challenging to kind of pinpoint where you apply it to and how you work to get better. But maybe you have some better insight and understanding than I do as far as how that works.
Well, Amy's also the data person. So we brought the right person.
So when the numbers come in, how do you know how to apply that?
Right. So I have graphs from the last 5 years of trends of data that we've looked at across each grade level and across each school. And so that's kind of how I break it down to start. Are we better than we were last year? What areas are we better than we were last year? And why are we better than we were last year? What did we do different this year that made a difference? And then I also pull... We know we have some weaknesses, some trouble spots in the district score-wise every year, and so we pull those. We try to break those down by teacher, by school, to see if there's a gap that we're not aware of somewhere. Somebody's teaching something a lot better than maybe someone else is, and so we try to really hone in on what that teacher's doing that made it work with her kids that year. So we're always, once that data comes in, it's a month or two of just really digging in and trying to figure out where we might have issues based on data and who might be knocking it out of the park. And then that way we can kind of adjust. But it's one of my very favorite things.
Well, speaking of, teachers and administrators and educators within the district working together, when we come back, we're going to talk about a new policy that is coming down that stems from some educators working together to come up with what is best for the students here in the district. And we'll talk about what that is. I love the fact that this process, that this concept came from educators working together. But you're going to want to hear what it is on the other side. It is the starting lineup again with Miss Amy Greer and Dr. Alsup in studio. We'll be back on the other side on ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
The Tennessee Lifeline Peer Project connects individuals and families to addiction recovery resources right here in Franklin County and across our region. From treatment referrals and 12-step meetings to education and ongoing support. Because recovery happens when we're stronger together, and life truly is stronger without it. Learn more at fcpctn.org/TNLifeline or call 931-464-0725. funded under a grant contract with the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
This is Andy Davis with Davis & Davis Southern Injury Law. I am always shocked when people who have been in a wreck do not want to contact an attorney. One reason I have high insurance limits on my own vehicle is that if I make a mistake and hurt someone, I don't want to live knowing that I've hurt someone and did not make it right and give them what they deserve. At Southern Injury Law, if someone breaks the rule and doesn't respect the damage they have caused, then we make it right. Call Davis & Davis Southern Injury Law, 931-967-7000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services is greater than that of other lawyers.
From the 931 Go Weather Center, it's time for an ESPN Radio Winchester weather update, presented by Bennett's Pharmacy.
More warm weather headed your way. Today's going to be a bright, sunny day with a high of 79 degrees this afternoon. Calm winds becoming around 5 miles per hour in the morning and staying that way for the rest of the day to keep you nice and cool on this hot summer's day. Stay tuned to ESPN Radio Winchester for all of your wonderful weather updates.
At Bennett's Pharmacy in Winchester, we're more than a pharmacy. We're your partner in health. Conveniently located at 1201 Dinah Shore Boulevard, we're here to serve you with fast, friendly, and personalized service. Need prescriptions filled? Looking for over-the-counter products? We've got you covered. Plus, enjoy local delivery and expert advice from our caring team. Call us today at 931-967-2777 or stop by Bennett's Pharmacy at 1201 Dinah Shore Boulevard today.
Well, that was an interesting last segment. Let's try that again. Back to Joe Abraham and Chewy. This is the starting lineup on ESPN Radio Winchester.
Back here on the starting lineup, ESPN Radio 1340, 1069 WCDT Winchester. I am Joe Abraham alongside Chewy, and in studio with us, Miss Amy Greer and Dr. Alsop. And, in the previous segment, we kind of talked about how after the testing scores kind of come through, teachers put their heads together with Miss Amy, and they kind of determine and figure out from a data standpoint what's working, what's not. One of the things, Dr. Alsop, that, some of the principals within the district have put their heads together here on as of late is the cell phone policy or the communication device policy. And we had a few of these leaders within our district get together and talk about what's working in their school, what's not, and they came up with together a policy that would kind of create a standard across the district. And I got to tell you, I was at this past Monday's board of education meeting, and I absolutely not only love how they work together to put it together, but I love the policy as well. But talk a little bit about where it stands.
So I think the secondary administrators are seeing cell phones being more and more disruptive in their building. And I think they would like to have a tighter policy that they can fall back on whenever they're trying to reel that in. Actually, several years ago, the Warren County Board of Education took a stand on cell phones in their schools, and they were very successful. I think they were able to see some things that they really felt like were beneficial to our students. And I'm also seeing a lot of data and a lot of articles from professionals around the country talking about cell phone use and screen time in our schools, which is another topic that we'll talk about too at some point. And so I am very hopeful that our administrators, our principals, if they see something in a policy that they feel like needs to change, because our policies change, things change in our schools, things change in our society, so that, necessitates some policy changes periodically. And I would hope that our administrators, when they see something, that they would get together as a team and make a proposal to the board to change those policies and defend that and present that to the board. I think this policy is very important. That's why whenever they wanted to address the cell phone issue, I asked them to get something to us early, because I wanted, for this particular policy, the board to have a first read so they could ask questions and get community input on the policy and what their thoughts are. and then it passed the first read Monday night, and so in June that will be up for adoption. Not a lot of changes. It's just going to tighten things up.
Yeah.
And they put some things in that policy that are consequences for violating the cell phone policy.
Right. Yeah, so I think that, number one, you talked about kind of having a blueprint for these types of things going forward, which is tremendous, right? Like this is kind of the standard as to how you'd like to see these changes from a policy standpoint that come down from the school level done. As far as the actual meat of the policy, you talk about the changes that are being made. It was my understanding from sitting in there and listening to Miss Holly Eastlick and Miss Brittany Butner talk about it, is that you had one, the kind of some of the middle schools are operating from a tighter standard in regard to the communication device usage. And then at the high school level, it had historically been, okay, if you got some free time between classes and the lunchroom and all that type of stuff, you can kind of take it out and use it as allowed. Maybe even certain teachers in certain classrooms had different policies as far as, hey, you can use it now versus you can't. And really what they saw at the middle school level was the kids stayed focused, stayed engaged, a lot better using those policies. And then from a consistency standpoint, having it change from one year to the next also seemed to be a big part of this, to where now it's just, regardless, when you walk through those school doors, whether it be middle school, high school level, it's consistent across the board. And what it looks like for people who haven't kind of taken a look at the policy to this point yet, is my understanding is that prior to school in the lunchroom, before they enter, before the first bell rings and they enter the halls and start the day, that they can have those devices, and then once again at lunch.
Right.
And then outside of that, they're pretty much put away. They're stored away. And
that's right.
And that's the requirement. And there is no more flexibility as far as certain teachers, or maybe you got a substitute teacher, right, Chewy?
Right.
That, all that type of stuff goes away. And really it's limited. Now, there is the access at lunch. They talked about, maybe you've got a work schedule that you got to figure out, or maybe you forgot something, or you need something, or something like that, and you need to communicate back with home or something like that, mom and dad, for something. But for the most part, it's there's a lot of reasoning behind it, but it's consistent.
So the way the policy was written now is it does create some inconsistencies in how it's enforced.
Right.
And so I think the secondary administrators felt like it would be good to tighten that up and put some more language in that would make it where you had to be consistent in how it was being enforced. So I in my opinion, I think we need to tighten that up.
Yeah.
I think the cell phones are a distraction. I think that there will be some. It'll be hard for some of our students to understand that we are not going to allow you to have your phone out. The earbuds are coming out.
Yeah.
And I told the principals, this is fine. I can support you in this policy change, but I expect it to be enforced in the buildings.
Right.
They're ready to do that, prepared to do that.
Yeah, the headphone thing, that walking around with the earbuds, it drives me nuts. And so, when we talk about things like culture, we're talking about discipline, classroom focus, student safety, all of these types of things. And I think that it applies in all those different ways. So you mentioned screen time a little bit as well. That's a big part of this, is that you guys within the district are essentially required to use these Chromebooks and these screens to work with certain things like testing and the education process. Now, a lot of the textbooks are now delivered through the Chromebooks and things. And so when you've got kids who spend a certain amount of required work time within the classroom on the screens, and then they go home and they've maybe got kind of unmonitored screen time and other things like that, it can be a challenge to balance and ensure that these kids are not always on a screen. So how have you guys taken that into account?
Well, Amy sent out a survey several months ago. She surveyed the elementary teachers and parents just to get their take on their thoughts on the screen time. And I'm seeing more and more research in regards to screen time for elementary,
right?
And it's not a good thing.
Right.
From what I'm seeing, the data is suggesting that this Chromebook use in our classrooms may not be helping our kids. It may actually be detrimental
right.
to our students' learning. And so the state of Tennessee is requiring us to have a policy, and we're going to be looking at that this summer on screen time. Now, it's not going to be a major change at this point. We're going to take a look at what is recommended from the TSBA, which is the Tennessee School Board Association. They're the ones who give us suggestions on our policies. We'll see what their recommendation is. We'll look at some other policies around their surrounding areas and kind of get some idea how we want to approach the screen time policy this first year. But I do see, because the states surrounding Tennessee are passing legislation that's restricting screen time usage in our elementary schools, I see Tennessee going to something probably a little more restrictive in the future.
Yeah, which is it's tough when, again, we talk about the fact that you guys can't really have an effect on the home life of a student. But, you know, I think that Chewy and I would both agree to the fact that, and I've got many young kids, right, that I look at how it affects their level of creativity, their level of focus, and other things like that. Even from, I've got a couple of young sons who, you know, they jumped on the video game systems at a young age and things like that. And it seems like it almost creates not like an ADHD type of thing, but this thing where they always got to have something going on, right? They get bored so quickly. But boredom, in my mind, and we just talked about this the other day, is kind of like the catalyst for creativity, right? It's good. It's a good thing for kids to be a little bit bored at times, because then they figure out how to. They create. They figure out how to entertain themselves. But talk a little bit about what maybe the data has suggested or what you guys have seen. Is there anything to that, or is that just something that's going on in my head?
I don't have any specific data to back it up.
Yeah.
I do have my grandmother,
Yes, ma'am.
though, and she's, I mean, if she says it by
It's law.
George, it's true. And she told me the other day, she was like, these kids, the problem is you don't have to wait for anything anymore.
Right.
And I was like, she's always right.
Yeah.
She's always right. My own kid will be doing 2 or 3 things at once. Got a computer game going, a book out, a phone, we don't have to wait for anything anymore.
Yeah,
so.
you don't even have to wait for it now to come into the Blockbuster. You can just video on demand. You go on there and you pick out what movie you want to watch.
Take a picture and look at it immediately. There's no fingerprint in it, or
I didn't even think about that.
Like everything is immediate. So.
Oh man,
one of the problems that it's going to have to be addressed at the state level, though, is testing is online.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, they're asking us to take a look at our screen time policy and screen time for our kids. So they're going to have to take a look at how our students are tested.
Right.
And the reason why these tests are online is because they've promised to get scores back to us in time to include those in, the final report card.
Yeah.
So if we go to another method, a paper pencil method, they will not get scores back to us. But if they try to back that up and try to do a paper pencil test to get scores back to us on time, well, that's cutting into instructional time, so you're not going to be able to cover all the standards.
Right. That's a good point. And too, I mean, I think about it, but it was always Scantron. I remember when they came out with the Scantron thing, and you had to bubble it in, and you had to get the number 2 pencil, and that was like a big technology step. You knew it was a serious test when they broke out the Scantron, too.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah.
So we've talked a little bit about the screen time. We talked a little bit about the new cell phone policy. How can parents, if they want to give some feedback, maybe they go and they look into this new cell phone policy and things like that, and they want to give some thoughts and some feedback on these types of things, how can they do that? How can they go about being engaged?
Go ahead.
the cell phone policy would be attached to the board notes from
Right.
the last board meeting. So anytime you want to see anything that's happened at a board meeting, if you just go to our website and click on board policies or board notes, those are all under board docs. So you could pull that policy up there and really read it and understand what it's about. As far as getting a hold of somebody, we're always available through email.
Email, I was going to say email.
Email is,
any of the supervisors. Myself, Amy, Rachel, Jenny Crabtree. Anytime you have any suggestions or any concerns, feedback, or anything, you want to reach out to someone at the board. Those were the ones who we'd like to hear from you.
Yeah, and it's important. Again, it's an important part of the process. The feedback from the parents.
Right. Absolutely.
All right, so the last thing that I've got here to kind of chat with you guys about this morning, again, we got Dr. Alsop and Miss Amy Greer in studio with us this morning, is, as far as teachers, we've got some teachers who are leaving, retiring, which is usually the case this time of year. They turn in their notice or whatever the case is that they won't be back. And so we're in the process of kind of replacing educators, and you guys have a lot of employees across the district. And one of the concerns is, when you bring in new people who are talking and engaging and on a day-to-day basis interacting with the children of the community, how do we make sure that the kids are protected through this process, whether it be through background checks and all the other things that you guys can do within that process? And so as you are going through the process of interviewing and hiring new employees across the district, what is that process and the background checks? How does that work? How does that look?
I can answer that. I'm the HR supervisor.
There we go.
So I know all about that. I think initially, as a hiring manager, at the building level, the principal, the first step is to contact references. And a lot of our principals go a little above and beyond. You don't just contact the people that they list on their resume. You call the school. And if it's somebody from Tennessee, people in this district, they know a lot of people in other school districts. So they'll reach out to the building secretary. They'll reach out to another principal in the district, and they'll try to do a good thorough investigation just at that level. But beyond that, we do fingerprinting, and it is an FBI, a TBI, the child abuse, and if there's anything in their background, we'll know.
Yeah.
And we, if it's something very serious, we absolutely will not employ them. We have rejected multiple employees or people who wanted to come to work for us because of their history and the concerns that we had. So now it's not 100%. You think that you do your due diligence and you investigate and you try to make sure there's not anything there that would be a concern to us. But like I said, people slip through or things happen and you're kind of surprised by that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I would say so. Sometimes, you've got people who, and this is one of the things about, regardless of the district or wherever it happens, because we do see it in the news and it pops up and stuff, but you have people who they'll respond to certain things that they see on the news, and they're like, wow, I would have never thought, I would have never guessed, whatever the case is. And it is surprising. Now, that all being said, you guys do take the process extremely seriously. As in regard to the district, I mean, are we talking about just teachers, or are we talking about coaches even, or like ancillary?
Every single employee, even if it's somebody that doesn't work directly with students, like, for example, somebody in the maintenance department, every single employee, we do the same background. Now, there is a new program. It's called Ratback. And so once we get the employees loaded in Ratback, if they commit a crime, we will get notified.
Wow.
It's back before that, we would do those background checks every 5 years by law.
Right.
But now it's immediate. We find out immediately.
Wow. That's tremendous. And so again, we've referenced this as well, kind of the if you see something, say something thing. But if there is concern, whether it be from students may come home and tell their parents about something that they experienced in a classroom or something along those, those lines. How do you guys go about addressing issues like that maybe there's some he said, she said to it, or there's some student conversations that you guys catch wind of, or whatever the case is? Because you may have some disgruntled students, with a teacher. So how do you separate like the serious ones from the not, I guess?
Well, we don't dismiss a complaint or concern that's brought to us.
Yeah.
When I was at the high school, we took all those seriously, and we would get those periodically. Somebody would come and they would he makes me feel creepy, or what do you do with that? How do you handle that? But we investigate. We meet with the teachers. We talk to them. We let them know what the concern is. We don't mention any names of people who do complain or have expressed a concern, but we take every single one of those seriously, and we again, it's another very thorough investigation, because we don't want to get surprised by something, and we don't assume that people, just because they pass a background, that they're not going to be a little shady about things. But again, it's not 100%, because sometimes when you do those investigations, you get statements. You have kids write statements, and they're inconsistent, or you talk to one kid and they said, yeah, that happened, or that whatever. And you talk another kid and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. So you have to be careful not to accuse somebody unfairly too. So we're going to err on the side of protecting our kids.
Right, definitely. That's I think everybody would be glad to hear that. Well, I got to say, very good conversation today. Yeah. Thank you very much to both of you guys. I learned a lot. I hope our listeners did as well. Is there anything that I left off today that maybe we haven't gotten into that you wanted to get into before you guys headed out this morning? No?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Well, again, good luck with summer school. Good luck, Dr. Alsop, to you with everything.
I appreciate that.
And thank you very much, again, Miss Amy Greer and Dr. Alsop, for coming in this morning and having a short conversation about what you guys have going on, what you guys have coming up. For people who are maybe wondering, normally it is I think the fourth Monday of every month. And I even forgot, Dr. Alsop reached out to me and he's like, hey, the fourth Monday is like Memorial Day Monday. Do we want to switch that up? And then he had to remind me as well. So good job by him to make sure that he got in here. And again, great conversation. So thank you guys very much. I'll let you get back to it. I know that you have a very busy week ahead, but thank you for all the work that you guys do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back on the other side. It is the starting lineup. This is ESPN Radio, 1340, 1069, WCDT Winchester.
Hey, it's Chewy, and if you've got pests, you need the folks that I trust, Burrow's Termite and Pest Control. They're right here in the heart of Estill Springs at 101 North Main Street, taking care of everything from termites and ants to spiders and those little critters that love sneaking into your home. Burrow's is family-owned, they're local, and they've been protecting homes around here for years. So don't wait, swing by or check them out over there online at burrowstermite.com. Burrow's Termite and Pest Control. They'll treat you right and treat your home even better.
From the team at Franklin County Financial Services, congratulations to the class of 2026 at Franklin County and Huntland High Schools. Now is a time to celebrate your accomplishments and the journey that brought you here. As you step into your next chapter, stay motivated and continue building towards your goals. Your hard work is beginning to pay off, and your future is full of potential. Congratulations, seniors, from Franklin County Financial Services.
At Citizens Community Bank, we're here to make your banking easy and convenient. Whether you're visiting us in person at our main location at 1418 Dinah Shore Boulevard in Winchester, or others in Deckard and Huntland, or managing your money on the go with our secure mobile app, we've got you covered. Call us today at 931-967-3342. That's Citizens Community Bank, Equal Housing Lender Member FDIC, your trusted partner in banking for over 30 years.
It's time for a local news break from the 931 Go News Center.
The Franklin County Mayor's Office is thanking the community for coming together in a powerful show of unity and faith on Thursday, May 7th, as residents gathered for the TN 250 celebration and the National Day of Prayer. County leaders described the evening as an overwhelming blessing, made possible by the support of volunteers, organizers, local churches, and community members. From prayers lifted across the field to the countless hours of preparation behind the scenes, officials said the event reflected the strength and heart of Franklin County. A major highlight of the celebration was the unveiling of new murals created by local artists Karen Engel, Barbara Dwyer, Carol Ann Stevens, Kristen Abraham, and Christy J. Organizers emphasized that the gathering was more than just a celebration. It was a moment of unity centered on faith, history, and shared love for the Franklin County community. Meanwhile, at Franklin County High School, the class of 2026 officially closed one chapter and opened another on May 14th. In front of a packed football stadium, seniors tossed their caps into the air and celebrated graduation day. In a message released by the school, administrators praised the class for filling the halls with pride, spirit, and accomplishment. From academics to athletics, fine arts to leadership roles, the class of 2026 left its mark across the campus. Special recognition was given to valedictorian Ruby Webb and salutatorian Molly Casey, honored as this year's top academic leaders. Quoting author Roald Dahl, "You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. Oh, the places you'll go." Congratulations to the Franklin County High School class of 2026 from everyone in your community. For more stories and to view student photo galleries, visit 931go.com. Stay informed and stay connected to your community with ESPN Radio Winchester.
When it comes to caring for your loved ones, choose a name you can trust. Inhabit Home Health in Winchester, located at 2068 Cowan Highway. We're here to provide compassionate professional care right in the comfort of your own home. From skilled nursing to therapy services, our team is dedicated to helping you or your loved ones achieve the best quality of life. Call Inhabit Home Health today at 931-967-0633 to learn more about our personalized care plans.
Choose More Courtney Funeral Home. Whether a fifth-generation funeral home taking care of the people of Franklin County since 1905, they're committed to serving you, dedicated to providing personalized, professional, and compassionate service to help lighten your burden and help you out during these difficult times. More Courtney Funeral Home, 300 First Avenue Northwest in Winchester, 967-2222. More Courtney Funeral Home.
Got a project to tackle or a party to plan? Skip the stress and rent it instead at Reliable Rental in Winchester. From tools and heavy-duty machines to chairs, tables, and event essentials, they've got what you need to get the job done right. Whether it's work or a weekend celebration, Reliable Rental makes it easy. Stop by 2433 Deckard Boulevard in Winchester or check out everything they offer online at reliablerentalfc.com. Reliable Rental. When you need it, they've got it.
Back here on the starting lineup, ESPN Radio 1340, 1069 WCDT Winchester. It has been a mayhem of mayhem Mondays. Goodness gracious. To the point where now Chewy's having to change cameras back. He's having to readjust. But I tell you what, quick moving show.
Yeah.
Very fun show as well.
Flew by. You did a lot of talking, and I want to say good job.
Appreciate you.
I didn't do anything during that last interview. I'm sorry. I zoned out for a bit.
No, you're good.
I actually built 2 new camera angles.
Oh, there we go.
That's why I spun the camera around. Yeah.
I saw you doing stuff during the show. So, interestingly enough, Chewy, we had a lot of things go on this past weekend. You went to a freaking baseball game, which is only the second. You've been to a Braves.
My second baseball game.
Yeah, you've been to a Braves game and then a Dust Devils game.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your Dust Devils experience.
So the Dust Devils, first off, I think Creed may be my favorite baseball player.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get that right off
Ever.
the bat.
Of all,
Yeah.
He wants a Creed. Is Creed selling merch yet?
I need a Creed card.
Creed card, Creed
Signed,
jersey.
Yes, everything. But secondly, went out there and so we were talking about it in the break, and I had never been out to the Estill Fields. So for 15 minutes, we just sat there in the sun watching some other children. and I was just like, I just don't see anybody. I was like, because I was waiting. I was like, I'm gonna at least recognize Creed and Presley, and
Right.
I didn't see either of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, I felt like a bad person because I was like, so I dragged Tori out
Am I
there.
at the right place? Is this the right time?
Yeah, so we get out there and Tori's like, so who's playing this? And I was like, and I'm colorblind, so I'm like, I think their uniforms are either navy or black, and so we get out there, finally found Sam, and they were warming up. Got to see Presley. I got to meet Sam's wife.
Really? She
Amber.
exists?
Yeah, she's so cool. Yeah, very nice. His whole family was out there,
Yeah.
basically. Mother-in-law, his mom was. We met his mom at Walmart that one time,
Right.
so I saw her again.
Yeah.
His mom.
For people who are wondering, we were walking through Walmart and we were
in the Lego aisle.
Yeah, hogtailed in the Lego aisle by Sam's mom.
And she was super wonderful. They were giving out candy and sweets and treats, and I was sitting there with Presley and all of them, and
Yeah.
it was a lot of. And Presley was sat behind me. She'd been getting into crochet.
Oh.
That's something that Tori likes to do. So,
That's very
yeah,
cool.
So I'm looking forward to seeing some of her crochet work.
All right, so here's the $1 million question, though. It was the Battle of the Undefeateds.
Yeah.
So my question for you is, did the Dust Devils cupcake them?
I did not see any cupcakes at the time.
Right.
So this
But
may
did
have
they
been.
beat them?
Oh, dude. It was like there was a point where the energy changed a little bit.
Yeah.
We were like, all right, well, let's let up a little bit. You know what I mean?
So they smoked them.
Smoked them.
They dusted them.
They literally dusted them. And it was so much fun because I had never been to a game like this before.
Yeah.
And I don't watch sports. I don't get into sports. But I think I understand just a modicum of what people are feeling when they watch sports sometimes, because Creed got out there. So first off, shout out to all of the young athletes out there. They all did an absolutely fantastic job getting up there to the bat. Sammy D up there pitching, whether it was off the T-ball or the pitch, these kids were just hitting really good.
Yeah.
And they start off a little bit slow.
Okay.
Sam, he was being a little humble when I first saw him.
Sam was at that throwing like 80 to the kids, striking them out. He's like, "Oh wait, I gotta."
Yeah. They. So we get up there and he I was like, "Hey man, you excited?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I was
Nervous
like,
energy. Huh?
Yeah. And I was like, "Are you a little nervous?" He's like, "Yeah, we feel a little tired this morning." In the first inning, they struggled. And they got the other team fully loaded, and then just like one right after that, boom, 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 and you just saw that scoreboard go up, 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 and we only had one. And but the kids, they were kept in good spirits. They were keeping their wits about them, and people, we were all cheering for him. I was getting real loud, like I didn't realize, like I was like,
you started getting invested.
Yeah,
man.
I did. And when the kids finally got up there, dude, that second inning when they got up to bat, just something changed.
Yeah,
where they could not stop. Where I mean, they maybe had like 1 or 2 outs the entire inning, and just
they
like
just were smoking a ball.
Every one of them, and then all of them stealing bases.
Yeah,
any chance one of these kids could steal a base, they did.
Yeah,
and they just go and just bolted. And I was like, because I'm sitting there and I'm watching these kids, and you hear their names behind you, so you start telling them, because it's like the one where they've got the other coaches on the field telling them to like pay attention, and then they look at them, and they go go, and so like everyone in the crowd's going go go go, you know what I mean? And watching the kids just like run it's so much fun. And Creed, dude, he had the little baseball glasses on. He looked just like his dad out there, and then knocking. Just mollywhopping these balls.
Not gonna smoke off the ball.
And then so far out that like he'll have the bases fully loaded and he'll have a home run himself. So like 4 points per swing sometimes.
Wow.
It's incredible. They did a fantastic job. Hope
they call that a grand slam, Chewy.
They did more than one grand slam.
Wow.
Yeah, and they just fantastic. And then even on top of that, when they were playing in the outfield, there were kids. They just can throw it right. Catching it at the right time, the right base. Everyone was on their things.
Wow.
Shout out to those young athletes. They did a fantastic job. I hope they have a really fun time. Maybe even going to state. So we'll see.
Yeah.
And
good job by them.
We also got a loaf of bread from.
So they
Sam's
breaded.
relatives.
They didn't cupcake you. They breaded.
They breaded me. Yeah, they're like So, shout out to the whole family. Out
we
there.
told Sammy D is like kind of hit his villain arc as far as Little League baseball goes. And what we told him he needs to do is, after you make the other team cry, your team makes the other team cry, you need to offer them some cupcakes to like cheer them up and make them feel better. And so that's how we refer to like beating the smoke off a team. When he mollywops somebody, you give him a thing of cupcakes afterwards.
Give him a Band-Aid.
Yeah,
afterwards.
and then what it'll do is it'll teach all of the other teams that they want to lose. to the dust devils.
He's playing 4D
Yeah.
chess.
I mean, I need the Yankees to adopt that. The Yankees, if the Yankees could win a baseball game, then they walk across the field and give the other team some cupcakes.
Keg of beer.
Yeah, every time we lose to the Yankees, well, at least we get cupcakes. And
Yeah.
the next thing you know, they'll want to lose. Well, I love it. I'm impressed by you, my friend, for heading out there and going to the baseball game. That's very cool of you.
My favorite part was, it was funny because like all the coaches and the dads knew each other.
Yeah.
So when the opposing team would come up, they were giving them little pointers.
Right.
There was one moment that just stood out to me that I loved, where the opposing team was pitching.
Yeah.
And hitting. And Sam, so the opposite coach is behind you and catches the ball, throws it back to the pitcher. It's all very kumbaya. Like there was no malice, but I couldn't sense any like negative feelings between the adults. And we were all cutting up and laughing. And there was this moment where this kid gets up to plate and the feet placement's wrong, and the coach is like trying to tell him what to do, and then so Sam draws 2 X's in the sand in front of him. Kid hits it for a home run.
There we go.
And it was like, oh, okay, I get why we're doing this.
Yeah.
Now. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
at that moment, I was like, oh, okay, we're having fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I liked it so much. So.
Yeah.
But
that's great.
Awesome day.
You don't technically, like, a lot of times you don't like to venture out, not just because you're not a social. Well, you kind of are social butterfly-y.
Yeah.
But you don't seek out areas of lots of people like that. So let me ask you this: did anybody notice your aura when you showed up? Like, was there any kind of engagement like that?
So yes. So we walked out there.
Yeah.
And we were sitting in the field watching these kids warm up.
Yeah.
And I'm just standing there. I met Amber. I got to meet a whole bunch of other people. One of Tori's old coworkers was there, and we were just sitting there chatting. And I feel this little tug on my shirt.
Right.
And I turn around and look down. There's this kid.
Yeah.
And he goes, unprompted. He
Yeah.
didn't wave. He didn't say hi. I didn't even notice this child. He
Right.
goes Chewbacca. Like that. Like alert. He's like, hey.
Government named you and everything.
And I was like, hello? And I like turned around and looked down at this little man. And he goes, Chewbacca, is Crosby coming today? And I said, you know what, buddy? I don't know, but I'll ask him. And so that tickled me to death.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So not only did he government name you, but he was like,
He did not care who I was.
interested in
Yeah,
you
he
at
was
all.
totally like, hey, listen, I know if you roll around, Crosby's usually
Yeah.
around, and that guy's cool. But where is he? Is he here? And I was like, well, no. And the kid just goes, like the disappointed, like, yeah. He goes, all right, and he just walked off, and I didn't get to see him again. But I thought that was funny. So I had a great time.
You can't go anywhere. Can't
No.
take this kid anywhere.
But listen, I gotta say, dude, we gotta broadcast one of these.
Yeah.
It's only an hour. You know what I mean? And they end it at a time instead of like points or innings.
Yeah.
Dude, we would have so much fun doing
Yeah.
this. Like screaming. Just I can totally picture it. But anyway,
I still stand by. It would be funny to have you and Katie do a game like that where you don't know any of the terms,
Yes.
and, half of what's going on, but you just. Well, very cool. I don't know how much time we've only got a few minutes. Supposed to be a few minutes left in the show.
I didn't mean to soak up all the time.
No, you're good. There were some things that happened over the weekend that I really needed to talk about.
Okay.
I guess number one, the kids did go camping on. I say the kids. We went camping in the backyard. Everybody passed the test except for Katie.
Oh.
Katie was the only one that decided to get up and go inside. It was too brutal on her back, body, whatever.
Were we all just laying on the ground?
Essentially. So we put the tent in the backyard, and I tried to find the softest, like best grass, avoid the dog poop, all the things, for the backyard. We did cook out and do like the hot dogs and the marshmallows and all the things in the backyard, but we also I ran the power out to the tent, and we ended up watching a movie in the tent. So I don't know if that's camping or not.
Yeah,
might be a
it's
level of glamping, but we tried to watch some Wall-E. I want my 2 cents. And it was, I'll say this, it was pretty brutal. We didn't put the top on the tent. It was gorgeous, right? The weather was beautiful, so we slept under the stars, really. But we kept the net off the tent and stuff. Katie wants to get in here, and she wants to give her 2 cents, she says. But all we really had to lay down on the ground was we just went blanket hunting around the whole house. We found the blankets that we could, and we laid them down to soften the impact on the ground. it was brutal on the body. I'll say that. But what's your feedback, sweetie? Did you have fun?
I had some fun.
She had some fun.
Okay. It was brutal on the body, so I'm going to sum up what I just heard you say.
Yes.
First off, 1, Katie went inside at 10:30. Katie can't hang. I'll follow that up with, you ran a power cord out for electricity during camping for a movie, but you can't get your wife a mattress.
Well, okay, y'all just raw dogged it out there.
Pretty much.
You didn't do like excuse me.
Like
a mat, an air.
And let me say,
nothing.
I provided a fire, hot dog with buns, marshmallows, sticks for the marshmallows.
So.
And I don't get a mattress. And I was told I couldn't shower either before bed.
Yeah, that
were you were y'all trying to go like full?
I was trying to shower.
Oh no! But like, were you trying to simulate full?
Yeah,
on?
I was trying. So here was my whole thing was, let's if we took a trip out there to the campground, what are we going to deal with? We got limited resources. What did we bring with us? That's all we got. I didn't want to keep going back inside for more stuff. Now, in her defense.
And I made the decision, I will say this, as soon as I knew what we were sleeping on, I was like, yeah, I'm going inside. And it was still daylight when I made the decision.
I could have gone inside and gone up in the attic. We had one of those little roll-away.
We do?
Yeah.
Like a yoga mat almost?
What's the one that Crosby's, it was like a trundle bed type of, it's not very comfortable.
I'm thinking of something you roll up. That little, the cheap mattress.
Mattress.
Yeah, just something I threw up on top when he used to have a bunk bed.
Right. So I technically could have gone back inside to get it, but I wanted to get a good gauge of where we're at. So here's the thing. The kids pretty much handled it like champs. In fact,
if I was that little, I would too.
Jack and Joey went back the next day from war. They slept out. They slept out there again
by themselves.
But for the rest of us, it didn't. It was a little tough.
Yeah, I have retired from ground camping. I'm 100% a glamper from now on. Mom got a camper.
Yeah,
never again.
I think we just need like some. Honestly, just some. We don't even have sleeping. We have a couple of sleeping bags, right?
Mm-hmm. Who has? Well, I don't even know which one of us has one.
G has one. I know there's one in the basement.
Oh, she's too big for that now. That's gonna go down to probably Joey.
Yeah, there's one in the basement that's a good one. It just needs to probably be washed. But we just need a little bit more prep,
This is a field test.
Yeah, it was a field test. Yeah. Good way of putting it.
So what do we need? You need a mat,
right?
Tarps, like that kind of thing. Inflatable. There's some inflatable mattresses that have an opening, and you can just yank.
Whoa.
And it pulls the air in, and it's only about like 4 or 5 inches thick, so it's just enough to keep you insulated and off the ground.
Yeah.
Oh no, we need to get it packed up because without our cars there for Olive to scratch the tires, she's gonna scratch that tent.
All right.
I know.
Well, we got to do swap and shop, so let's go ahead and do that. I will do the rest of my stories in the coming days, I guess.
Okay. Maybe this afternoon. We'll see. Well, okay.
Oh,
all right, yeah.
They went away? They
pooped
away.
All right.
All right, so let's take a quick break. We'll come back with Reliable Rentals Swap and Shop on the other side. Also, I did before we end the show, Chewy, I did want to throw this out there. Did you know that you can beat Bop It?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Oh, sorry.
I found that out this past weekend.
Yeah.
All right, let's get Swap and Shop in here.
All right.
People are calling.
Reliable Rental Swap and Shop. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, sir. We're looking for a couple rock iron patio chairs. That comes in a set, but we only need